Nikki, just talk a little bit about the news today, and I think probably from your perspective, you had an idea because you keep in close tabs with the folks at Tennessee, but just your thoughts on Pat deciding to step down as the Lady Vols coach.
Well, Coach has always put this program, this game, in front of her. She's going to do whatever it takes, or whatever it would have taken for this game to grow and to continue to go on the right path, and that's what has decided to do for the Lady Vol program. Although no one wants Coach to leave this game, and she's definitely going to still be around, and I know that she's still going to influence so many of us in a positive way, like she's always has. But the program has decided, with the decision of hiring or promoting Holly Warlick, you couldn't ask for a better person to basically come in and get the job done. I'm going to miss Coach as far as, seeing her on the sidelines and things like that, but I'm very privileged and blessed to know her in a more intimate way as family and a great person. So I still get to have that contact with her. So I know that this decision wasn't an easy one, and I know it's one that she thought long and hard about and felt like it was what needed to be done. And I support any decisions that she makes or has made. And even when you think back of when she first talked about, coming out and talking about the dementia, I mean, that was just courageous of her. And I remember talking to her that day, and I go, wow, I said, you did a great job, and just so proud of her. And I know she's always telling us how proud of us she is, and she's proud, I'm proud of you, Nikki, or I'm proud of you, whomever. And so, we're proud of her, and we're proud that she, continued when you really didn't have to. But she's somebody who is going to definitely be missed in that regard, but not missed because her legacy lives on within all of us. Everybody who's come in contact with her, everyone she's coached or coached against, or those who have played for her, she's with us. So we carry Coach with us in everything that we do every day.
Still kind of hard to believe that she won't be patrolling the sideline for the Lady Vols.
It will be. I know the refs are probably a little bit happier, but no. But it is. It's going to be definitely different because she's been a movement for our game, and I've said this plenty of times where she has really been the one to carry the face of women's basketball at the collegiate level, and by far the best coach to ever coach this game, and will coach this game. And so it's definitely going to be a little different not seeing her down the sidelines, and I know players are going to, miss the fact that they're going to not have or be on the end of that stair. So again, she's just been such a huge part of this game.
Nikki, this is Vince Ferrara. Good to talk to you. What kind of impact do you think Pat Summitt can still have in her role now as head coach emeritus, maybe not being on the sideline, but with everything that she has meant to women's college basketball for incoming players, potential players? What kind of impact do you think that can still carry?
She's still going to have a huge impact. I think anytime she walks in the room, she impacts you without speaking a word, because her presence and her aura demands that type of attention. And so even when you see her name, whether it's in the media, publicize her name or what have you, you're going to stop and look at it. So she's going to influence this program, or her program, still in a positive way, and she's going to influence our program. And so many of us, again, who have played for her or been in contact with her on a more personal level, because we're going to be able to spend a little bit more time picking her brain, hopefully she doesn't mind that we call her more, and be there for her, because she's been there for so many of us for so long. And I know this is going to be a different role for her, but it's one that, when you think about her definite dozen, she talks about change as a must. and you have to be able to adapt and flow. And I think that's why she's been so successful, because she's been able to change and adapt to things that have been thrown her way.
How much have you been able to stay in contact with her? Clearly you have here in the past season or so, or especially since her announcement about the early onset dementia. And what was there a general theme to your discussions with her during that time?
We carried on like everyday conversations. I mean, I may have called her, regarding something, that I'm dealing with from a basketball standpoint, or it could be easily just calling to check in on her, or, she may be calling me and was, making sure that, I'm doing what I need to do. She gave me some great motherly advice, during my pregnancy, and then obviously afterwards, in having a child and being a part of a team. So, I was soaking in all of that information. But our communication has been good, and it's going to continue to be that way. And I can't wait to come back to Knoxville so I can introduce her to Justice, because she hadn't had the opportunity to meet her yet.
Nikki, would you talk about what Pat Summitt meant to you as a player, and then also preparing you to be a coach?
Well, as a player, I say this because a lot of us didn't realize the impact that she would have on us until later. And as a player, I definitely took full advantage of being a student of not only University of Tennessee academically, but being a student of Coach Summitt, because she taught us about life, and she taught us life lessons through basketball. And as a player, I just appreciate the wisdom and the knowledge that she shared with us in grooming us and making us better people. And that obviously has carried over into the coaching field, because I wouldn't be coaching today if it wasn't for her. Her giving me my first opportunity to come back and be a graduate assistant with her and her staff, and being able to be behind the scenes and see what it really is like to operate and run a program at this level. And I know a lot of us say this about Coach Summitt, but we got to see her in a different light after not playing for her. We got to see more of her as the person. And, so our relationship was obviously player-coach, but then over the years it's developed more into a family, and us being able to share things on a different level. And that has helped me grow as a woman.
Nikki, do you catch yourself, or have you caught yourself at times saying, wow, I sound like Pat Summitt as a coach? Or do people point things out that whether you realized it or not, you have Pat Summitt principles, and maybe you said something specifically that was Pat Summitt like?
Well, I find myself, obviously I come from a program that defense and rebounding, you talk about that. You say some of the phrases that she has said to not only me when I played, but I've heard over the years, having spent 6 years with her. But you take on Pat, you take on Pat a lot, and you obviously, carry everything because you've been there every day in workouts and practices, so you know what your practices are supposed to look like and how they're supposed to feel, having an opportunity to work with her. But you also find yourself, asking yourself, what would Pat do? I do find myself doing that in a lot of situations. So you pull from her, no matter where we are or what program we're in or what conference we're in. You still use her, and you may not talk to her that day, but you can reflect back on something that she said. All right, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Nikki. That's Bye-bye. Nikki Caldwell, head coach at LSU, a former graduate assistant and assistant at Tennessee, played for the Lady Vols, coached there, won national championships in both regards, and taking a few minutes to join us.